President Trump will mark a big milestone tomorrow, 100 days in office. This period is considered an important benchmark to measure the early success of the commander-in-chief. President Trump wasted no time making some big changes since his inauguration on January 20th, but there's still a lot to be done, especially when it comes to the economy. Hello, I'm Russ McCaskey.
I'm Amanda Hall. Americans are feeling the pinch of rising costs on everything from groceries to housing. Wink News anchor Claire Galt is the only journalist from Southwest Florida to be invited to the White House as part of Trump's 100 days. She got exclusive access to cabinet members and others in the Trump administration. She's live from the North Lawn. Claire, you spoke with the HUD Secretary about the high cost of owning a home.
Amanda, there is no doubt that our community, Southwest Florida, has a housing problem. Too many people in our area simply cannot keep up with the rising cost of rent and mortgages. It is the job of the Department of Housing and Urban Development to make sure all Americans have access to affordable housing. Scott Turner is the HUD Secretary, so I asked him this afternoon what he can do in his role to help solve this. Affordable housing is a big problem in Florida, especially Southwest Florida where we are. Yes. What can your department do to accelerate affordable housing in a place like Naples, for example?
Well, Claire, it's good to be with you. And we were just in Florida a couple weeks ago, so we do have an affordable housing crisis in our country, as you alluded to. And one thing that we're very, very focused on at HUD is to bring down burdensome regulations to make it better for developers, to make it better for builders and localities to build. And so working with state and local governments and the federal governments to tear down bureaucratic red tape. Washington was picking winners and losers, as you know, in Fort Myers and Naples and local communities around there. They understand the needs of their community better than Washington does. And so we took this rule down. It was a Biden-Obama era rule that now the flexibility is returned back to localities, returned back to the states and to the cities, so they can now work with developers or work with builders and build in their neighborhoods as they see fit.
Now, HUD also works with FEMA to aid in disaster recovery after hurricanes and other natural disasters. But the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, is looking to make deep cuts within HUD. There's been some concern that could slow down the recovery process for victims of storms and other disasters who are just looking to rebuild their lives. We know President Trump has planned cuts to the Office of Community Development, which helps with recovery sometimes when it's too much for FEMA. We've gotten that money after Hurricane Ian in the past. There's some concern that that could slow down recovery and disaster assistance. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I want people to be encouraged and understand from me. My job is to be the leader of HUD. We are very focused and we're very mission-minded at HUD. We understand the mission that we've been called to, and it's critical. We also understand the people that we serve. And myself and our team and the president, we actually care about this mission. And so those critical assignments will continue. We are taking inventory of every program office at HUD because I believe the American people expect that from me as the leader, to make sure that we're detailed and deliberate about every resource going out so that we can accomplish the mission, even disaster recovery.
So would you assure people that recovery will not be affected by any cuts?
No, we understand. Recovery is a priority.
I want to go back to the affordable housing crisis for just a moment. Secretary Turner told me it can be solved in Southwest Florida, but he did say it will take some time. Coming up on Wink News at 5, I tackle illegal immigration with President Trump's border czar. I'm live from the White House. Claire Galt, Wink News.